Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayodiri Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 15. The Lord accepts Prashadam at the house of Sarvam Bhattacharya. Text 197 onwards. So Sarma Bhattacharya, in the previous verses, we saw how he divided the whole month with invitations for different people. Like Mahaprabhu would go there for 5 days, Parvananpuri Goswami 5 days, Swarup Damodar for 4 days, and 8 other sannyasis for 2 days each. बहुत सन्यासी यदि ऐसे एक ठाई समान करिते नारी अपराध पाई. If all the sannyasis came together, it would not be possible for me to pay them proper respects. Therefore, I would be an offender. तुम्ही निज छाये आशीबे मोर घारा कबू संगे आशीबे न स्वरूप दामोदर. Sometimes you will come alone to my place, and sometimes you will be accompanied by Swarup Damodar. So this is telling to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhu ringita paya anandita mana sei din Mahaprabhu kaila nimantrana. Having this arrangement confirmed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Bhattacharya became very glad and immediately invited the Lord to his house on that very day. Shathir Mata Nam Bhattacharya Grahini Prabhur Mahabhakta Tehu Snehete Janani. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's wife was known as Shathir Mata. Shathir Mata, the mother of Shathi. So Shathi was daughter of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. She was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and she was affectionate like a mother. Ghare Asi Bhattacharya Tare Agya Dila Anande Shathir Mata Paka Chadaila. After returning to his home, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gave orders to his wife, and his wife, Shathira Mata, began cooking with great pleasure. Bhattacharya Grihe Sab Dravya Ache Bhari Yeva Shaka Faladika Anaila Ahari. At Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, there was always a full stock of food. Whatever spinach, vegetables, fruit, and so on were required, he collected and brought back home. Apani Bhattacharya kare pakir sab karma, Shathir Mata vichakshana jane pak marma. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya personally began to help Shathir Mata cook. She was very experienced and she knew how to cook nicely. Pakashalar dakshine dui bhoga lai, ek ghare shalagrame bhoga seva hai. On the southern side of the kitchen were 2 rooms for offering food, and in one of them, the food was offered to Shaligram Narayan. Among the followers of the Vedic way, the Shaligram Shila, the Vigraha of Narayan, is worshipped in the form of a stone ball. In India, every Brahman still worships the Shaligram Shila in his house. The Vaishyas and Kshatriyas may also engage in this worship, but it is compulsory in the house of a Brahman. आर घर महाप्रभु भिक्षार लागिया निभृते करियाचे भट्ट नूतन करिया. The other room was for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lunch. The Lord's lunch room was very secluded and it was newly constructed by the Bhattacharya. So we did go to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house in Jagannath Puri. But now we don't know which room was which. But there was one room with the opening in the floor, and it was said that there's a tunnel that goes to Jagannath temple from there, and Mahaprabhu would go from that tunnel to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. बाह्ये एक द्वार तार प्रभु प्रवेशिते पाकशालार एक द्वार अन्न प्रवेशिते. The room was so constructed that there was only one door opening on the outside, which served as an entrance for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There was another door attached to the kitchen, and it was through this door that the food was brought. Batisha Atiya Kalar Angatiya Pate Tena Mana Tandulera Ubarila Bhate. Wow. First 3 manas of cooked rice, almost 6 pounds, means about 3 kilos, was poured onto a big banana leaf. This is the beginning of a description of the food prepared for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This description is given by Kaviraj Goswami, who it is assumed was an expert cook who knew both how to prepare and how to serve food. Pita Sugandhi Grite Anish Sikta Kaila Chari Dike Pate Grite Vahiya Chalina. Then the whole stack of rice was mixed with so much yellowish and fragrant clarified butter that it began to overflow the leaf. Wow. Gaya Patra Kala Khola Donga Sari Sari Chari Dike Dhari Ache Nana Vyanjan Pari. There were a number of pots made of the bark of banana trees and the leaves of a kea plant. These pots were filled with various cooked vegetables and placed on all sides of the leaf, of the main leaf. Dash Prakara Shak Nimba Tikta Sukha Jhola Shukta Jhola Mari Chera Jhala Chana Bada Badi Ghola. There were about 10 kinds of spinach, a soup called shukta, which was made with bitter nimba leaves, a pungent preparation made with black pepper, a mild cake made of fried curd and buttermilk mixed with small fried pieces of dal. Dugdha tumbi dugdha kushmanda vishara lafara mocha ghanta mocha bhaja viveda shakra. There were preparations of Dugdha Tumbi, Dugdha Kushmanda, Vesar, Lafra, Mocha Ghanta, Mocha Bhag, and other vegetables. Vriddha Kushmanda Badi Vyanjana Apara, Fula Badi Phala Mula Vividha Prakara. There were unlimited quantities of Vriddha Kushmanda Badi, full body, fruits, and various roots. नव निम्ब पात्र सह भ्रष्ट वर्ता की फूल बड़ी पाटोला भाजा कुशमांड मान चाकी. Other preparations included eggplant mixed with newly grown nimba leaves fried together, light body fried patola, and fried rounds of squash and pumpkin. Bhrishta Mas Mugdha Soup Amrit Nindai Madhur Amla Bada Amladi Amla Panchachai. There was a soup made with fried urad dal and moong dal, defeating nectar. There were also sweet chutney and 5 or 6 kinds of sour preparations, beginning with Bada Amla. Mugdha Bada, Mash Bada, Kala Bada Mishta, Kshira Puli, Narikela Puli, Arayat Pishta. There were badas made of moong dal, of urad dal, and of sweet bananas. And there were sweet rice cakes, coconut cakes, and various other cakes. Kanji Vada, Dugdha Chida, Dugdha Laki, Arajat Pitha Kaila Kahite Nashaki. There were Kanji Vada, Dugdha Chida, Dugdha Laki, and various cakes that I'm unable to describe. Various cakes. Even Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami could not describe. Ghrita Shikta Paramanana Mrita Kunduki Bhari Champakala Ghana Dugdha Amrata Dhari. Sweet rice mixed with ghee was poured into an earthen pot and mixed with champakala, condensed milk, and mango. Rasala Mathira Dadhi Sandesha Par Gode Utkale Jat Bhakshera Prakar. Other preparations included a very delicious chund, yogurt, and variety of sandesh sweetmeats. Indeed, all the various eatables available in Bengal and Orissa were prepared. Shraddha Kari Bhattacharya Sab Karaila Shubhra Pitho Pari Sukshma Vasana Patila. Thus the Bhattacharya prepared a great variety of food and spread a fine cloth over a white wooden platform. Dui Pasha Sugandhi Shitala Jalachari Anna Vyanjano Pari Dila Tulasi Manjari. On two sides of the stack of wood were pitchers filled with scented cold water. The flowers of the tulsi tree were placed among the mound of rice. Amrita Gutika Pitha Paya Anaila Jagannatha Prasad Sava Prithaka Dharila. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also included several types of foods that had been offered to Lord Jagannath. These included sweet balls known as Amrit Gutika, sweet rice and cakes. All these were kept separate. So although the remnants of food left by Jagannath were brought into the Bhattacharya's house, they were kept separate from the preparations he had made at his home. It sometimes happens that prasadam is mixed with a larger quantity of food and then distributed. But in this case, we find that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya kept the Jagannath prasadam separate. He kept it aside particularly for the satisfaction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Wow. Hena kale Mahaprabhu madhyana kariya, ekale aila tara hridaya janiya. When everything was ready, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there alone after finishing his midday duties. He knew the heart of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So I believe this midday duties means he did his Gayatri at noon, and afterwards he came to this home. Bhattacharya kela tave pad prakshalana ghare bhitare gela karite bhojam. After Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya washed the Lord's feet, the Lord entered the room to take his lunch. Anadi dekhiya Prabhu Vishmita hai Bhattacharya kahe kecho bhangi kariha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a little astonished to see the gorgeous arrangement. Gesturing, he spoke to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Aloki kei sab anavyanjana dui prahara bhitare kaiche haila randhana. This is most uncommon. How was this arrangement of rice and vegetables finished within 6 hours? Shat chulaye shat jan paka yadikare tabu shigra ete dravya randhite na pare. Even 100 men cooking on 100 stoves could not possibly finish all these preparations within so short a time. Krishnera bhoga lagaya cha anumanakari upare dekhiye jate tulasi manjari. I hope the food has already been offered to Krishna since I see there are tulsi flowers on it. Bhagyavan tumi safal tomaro udyoga Radha Krishna lagaye cha etadrisha bhoga. You are most fortunate and your endeavor is successful, for you have offered such wonderful food to Radha Krishna. Anera Saurabhya Varna Ati Manorama Radha Krishna Sakshatiha Kariyachen Bhojan. The color of rice is so attractive and its aroma so good that it appears Radha and Krishna have directly taken it. Tomare bahut bhagya kat prasham shiba ami bhagyavani hara anavesh bhava. My dear Bhattacharya, your fortune is very great. How much shall I praise you? I also am very fortunate to be able to take the remnants of this food. Krishnera asanapita raka uttaya more prasad deha bhinna patrite kariya. Take away Krishna's sitting place and put it aside. Then give me prasadam on a different plate. Bhattacharya bale Prabhu nakara vismaya yehi khave tahar shakti bhoga siddha. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, it's not so wonderful, my Lord. Everything has been made possible by the energy and mercy of him who will eat the food. Udyogna chilla mora grihinira randhane yare shakte bhoga siddha seitaha jane. My wife and I did not especially exert ourselves in the cooking. He by whose power the food has been prepared knows everything. Eite asane vasi karaha bhojana Prabhu kahe puje Krishnera asan. Now please sit in this place and take your lunch. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, this place is worshipable because it was used by Krishna. So according to etiquette, things used by Krishna should not be used by anyone else. Similarly, things used by the spiritual master should also not be used by anyone else. That is etiquette. Whatever is used by Krishna or the spiritual master is worshipable. In particular, their sitting or eating places should not be used by anyone else. A devotee must be very careful to observe this. So we have to understand that we are servants, and Krishna or the spiritual master, if Prabhupada has used something, we should not use it. That they are masters. But just like when bhoga is offered to the deities in a plate, that plate, obviously, plate and spoon and bowls and water cups should be kept separately, what is all used for the deity. So when we take away bhoga after offering, we should mix it with the rest of the preparation, wash the plates and bowls and spoons, whatever used by Krishna. After the washing of the utensils is done, then we can have the food that is prepared. That is the standard in temples. So once some devotee, pujari, so he offered bhoga to Krishna in the temple. And definitely in the temple, Krishna's plates are a little bigger in size, maybe it's silver plate. So, and he brought the plate out with prasadam in the plate, whether sweet or whatever, roti and sabji, rice, dal. So he was bringing it out, and Prabhupada saw it. Prabhupada grabbed the plate and he ate one of the items. And the devotee was happy that Prabhupada has accepted this. Then maybe next day or same day, another devotee, maybe he was a sannyasi, he tried the same thing to get it from Krishna's bhoga plate. And Prabhupada saw it and he said, who do you think you are? See, Prabhupada could do something which obviously we cannot imitate. But so we have to follow the rules. So whatever plate Krishna is offered the bhoga in, it has to be first washed after the offering, and then and the offering has to be mixed with all the rest of the offering. And then we can have. Because obviously Krishna, Supreme Lord, he is our master. We are just servants. Bhattakahe anapita samana prasada, anna khabe pite vasite kaha parada. The Bhattacharya said both the food and the sitting place are the Lord's mercy. If you can eat the remnants of food, what's the offense in your sitting in this place? Prabhu kahe bhala kaile shastra agya Krishnera sakala shesha pritya aswada hai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, yes, you have spoken correctly. The Shastras enjoin that the deity, that the devotee can partake of everything left by Krishna. Tvayopayukta sragagandha vaso lankara charchita uchishta bhojano dashas tava mayam jayemahi. My dear Lord, the garlands, scented substances, garments, ornaments, and other such things that have been offered to you may later be used by your servants. By partaking of these things and eating the remnants of food you have left, we will be able to conquer the illusory energy. So whatever food is offered, bhoga is offered to Krishna, after he accepts it and leaves it, then it becomes prasad. Prasad means mercy, mercy of Krishna. And not just the food, even the clothing or the garlands that are offered, scent that is offered, flowers are offered. So it becomes prasad. So by accepting that prasad in the right mood, in the right consciousness, we become purified. Means our consciousness starts getting purified from master to servant. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Hare Krishna movement, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the dancing in ecstasy, and the eating of the remnants of food offered to the Lord are very, very important. One may be illiterate or incapable of understanding the philosophy, but if he partakes of these three items, chanting, dancing, and prasadam, he will certainly be liberated without delay. Very, very powerful, all three of them. This verse was spoken by Uddhav to Lord Krishna. This was during the time when the Uddhav Gita was spoken. At that time, there was some disturbance in Dwarka, and Lord Krishna decided to leave the material world and enter the spiritual world. Uddhav could understand the situation, and he talked with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The verse quoted above is an excerpt from that conversation. Shri Krishna's pastimes in the material world are called Prakat Lila, manifested pastimes. And his pastimes in the spiritual world are called Aprakat Lila. By unmanifested, we mean that they are not present before our eyes. Means we are material eyes, material senses, so we cannot see those pastimes. It is not that Lord Krishna's pastimes are non-existent. They are going on exactly as the sun is shining perpetually. But when the sun is present before our eyes, we call it daytime, manifest. And when it is not present, we call it night, unmanifest. Those who are above the jurisdiction of night are always in the spiritual world, where the Lord's pastimes are constantly manifest to them. As the Brahma Samhita confirms, Ananda Chinmaya Ras Pratibhavitans. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord who resides in his own realm, Golok, with Radha, who resembles his own spiritual figure and who embodies the ecstatic potency, Radhini. Their companions are her confidants, who embody extensions of her bodily form and who are imbued and permeated with ever blissful spiritual rasa. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyam Sundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eyes of devotion, tinged with the salve of love. So that is Krishna, and his pastimes are going on in the spiritual world and in material world also. They are Nitya Leela. But here we can see it when he was here, but spiritual pastimes, we just have to be there to see them. Tathapi etek anna khao na jaye, bhatt kahe jani khao yatek juyaye. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, there is so much food here that it is impossible to eat it all. Bhattacharya replied, I know how much you can eat. Neela chale bhojan tumi kar bayan bara, ek ek bhoge ranna shat shat bhara. After all, at Jagannath Puri, you eat 52 times a day, and each time you eat hundreds of buckets filled with prasadam. So at Jagannath Puri means as Lord Jagannath. Dwarakate Shola Sahasra Mahishi Mandir, Ashtadasha Mata Ara Yadavera Ghare. At Dwarka, you keep 16,000 queens and 16,000 palaces. Also, there are 18 mothers and numerous friends and relatives of the Yadu dynasty. And you eat at every house. Vraja Jetha, Khuda, Mama Pishadi Gopagana, Sakha Vrinda Sabara Ghare, Visandhya Bhujana. In Vrindavan, you also have father's elder brothers, your father's younger brothers, maternal uncles, husbands of your father's sisters, and many cowherd men. There were also cowherd boyfriends, and you eat twice a day, morning and evening, in the house of each and every one. In Dwarka, Lord Krishna had 18 mothers. So who are these? Devaki, Rohini, and others. Besides these was his foster mother Yashoda in Vrindavan. Lord Krishna also had many uncles, as stated by Srila Rupa Goswami in Brihad Bhagavatam, Brihad Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gunadesh Deepika. The elder brothers of Nanda Maharaj were Upananda and Abhinanda. Similarly, in the same verse, the names of the younger brothers of Nanda Maharaj are given. Sananda and Nandan, also known as Sunanda and Pandava, were the younger brothers of Krishna's father, Nanda Maharaj. Shri Krishna's maternal uncles are also described in this book. Yashodhara, Yashodhar, Yashodev, and Sudev were the maternal uncles of Krishna. Also mentioned in Radha Krishna Gunadesh Deepika are Krishna's uncles, who were the husbands of Nanda Maharaj's sisters. Mahanil and Sunil are the husbands of Krishna's aunts. And here, people can't even understand Krishna's form, forget about Krishna's form. Krishna's relatives' names are given. Father, mother, father's brothers, father's sisters, husbands, maternal uncles, names are given here. Here people can't even imagine the Supreme Lord can have a form. And for to speak of his relatives, how would they even conceive of that? Govardhan Nyaya Anna Khaila Rashi Rashi. Tara Lekhaye Anna Nahe Ek Grasi. Indeed, Sarvam Bhattacharya continued. At the Govardhan Puja ceremony, you ate stacks of rice. And that was really Annakut, the hill of food that Giriraji ate. In comparison to that, in this small quantity is not even a morsel for you. Tumita Ishwaram Shudra Jiva Chara Ek Grasa Madhukari Greh Karaha Angikara. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas I am a most insignificant living being. Therefore, please accept a little quantity of food from my house. So that, yes, from that perspective, it was very little quantity of food. But Mahaprabhu is, he's behaving like a sannyasi. He's not supposed to eat. Let's see. A sannyasi is expected to collect a little food from each and every householder. That is to say, he should take whatever he requires to eat. This system is called madhukari. The word madhukari comes from the word madhukar and means honey collecting bees. Bees collect a little honey from each flower. But all these small quantities of honey accumulate to become a beehive. Sannyasis should collect a little from each and every householder and should eat simply what is necessary to maintain the body. Being a sannyasi, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could collect a little food from the house of Sarvam Bhattacharya. And this was the Bhattacharya's request. Compared to the food eaten by the Lord on other occasions, the Bhattacharya's feast was not even a morsel. This is what the Bhattacharya is pointing out to the Lord. Ete shuni hasi prabhu vashi labho jane Jagannathera prasad bhattat dena harshamane. Hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and sat down to eat. Bhattacharya with great pleasure first offered him the prasadam from the Jagannath temple. Ena kale amoga Bhattacharya jamata kulina nindak teho shati kanya bharta. At this time, the Bhattacharya's son-in-law, Amogha, the husband of his daughter Shati, arrived there. Although born in an aristocratic Brahmin family, Amogha was a great fault finder and blasphemer. So just imagine Sharbham Bhattacharya and his wife, they prepared such a wonderful prasadam for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to honor. And Mahaprabhu started to honor it. And this guy comes, son-in-law Amogha. Son-in-law means he was husband of Shati. भोजन देखिते चाहे आसीते न पारे लाठी हाथे भट्टाचार्य आचेन्द्र द्वारे. Amogha wanted to see Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eat, but he was not allowed to enter. So that's why it was described earlier. So there was only one door to enter that room where Mahaprabhu was eating, and the other door went to the kitchen. So there was a door between the kitchen and that dining room, we can say, and one door to enter the dining. Because Bhattacharya was there at that door with a stick in his hand. Indeed, the Bhattacharya guarded the threshold of his house with a stick in his hand, because he knew this guy Amogha will come. Although he is a Jamai, but still, he had very fault-finding mentality. Teho yadi prasadite haila anman Amogha asi anna dekhi kare nindan. However, as soon as the Bhattacharya began distributing prasadam and was a little inattentive, Amogha came in. Seeing the quantity of food, he began to blaspheme. Because not everybody can understand the position of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Bhattacharya got busy in serving the Lord, and then he became little attentive. He had to leave the door, and Amogha got it. Ei ane tripta hai, dash bara jana, ekela sannyasi kare, eteka bhakshan. This much food is sufficient to satisfy 10 or 12 men. But this sannyasi alone is eating so much. Shunitai Bhattacharya, ulati chahina, tara avadhana dekhi Amogha palaila. As soon as Amogha said this, Sarvam Bhattacharya turned his eyes upon him. Seeing the Bhattacharya's attitude, Amogha immediately left. Bhattacharya lathi laya marite dhaila, palaila Amogha tare lage na paila. The Bhattacharya ran after him to strike him with a stick, but Amogha fled so fast that the Bhattacharya could not catch him. Tabhe gali shap dite Bhattacharya aila, ninda shoni Mahaprabhu asite lagila. The Bhattacharya then began to curse his son-in-law and call him ill names. When the Bhattacharya returned, he saw that Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was laughing to hear him criticize Amogha. Shuni Shathir Mata Shere Buke Ghat Mare. Shathi Randi Hauk. Iha Bale Bare Bare. When Shati mother, the Bhattacharya's wife, heard of this incident, she immediately began to strike her head and chest, saying again and again, let Shati become a widow. Means let that boy die. Duhar dukha dekhi Prabhu, duha Prabhu diya, duhar ichhate bhojan, kaila tushtanaya. Seeing the lamentation of both husband and wife, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried to pacify them. According to their desire, he ate the prasadam and was very satisfied. Achman karaya bhatt dila mukha vasa, tulasi manjari launga ilaichi rasavasa. After Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finished eating, Bhattacharya poured water for the Lord to wash his mouth, hands, and legs, and offered him flavored spices, tulasi manjaris, cloves, and cardamom. सर्वांगे पराइला प्रभु माल्य चंदन दंडवत हयान बले सदैन्य वचन. The Bhattacharya then placed a flower garland over Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and smeared his body with sandalwood pollen. After offering obeisances, Bhattacharya submitted the following humble statement. निंदा कराइते तोमा आनी नु निज घारे यही अपराध प्रभु क्षमा कर मोरे. I brought you to my home just to have you blessed. This is a great offense. Please excuse me. I beg your pardon. प्रभु कहे निंदा ना है सहज कहीला इहाते तो मार किबा अपराध हाइला. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what Amoga has said is correct. Therefore, it's not blasphemy. What is your offense? Ete bali Mahaprabhu chalila bhavane Bhattacharya tare ghare gela tare shan. After saying this, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left and returned to his residence. Sarvam Bhattacharya followed him. Prabhu pade padi bahu atma ninda kaila tare shanta kari Prabhu ghare bataila. Falling down at the Lord's lotus feet, Sarvam Bhattacharya said many things in self-reproach. The Lord then pacified him and sent him back to his home. Ghare asi Bhattacharya shatir mata sane apana nindiya kichu balena vachane. After returning to his home, Sarvam Bhattacharya consulted with his wife, the mother of Shati. After personally condemning himself, he began to speak as follows. Chaitanya Gosair Ninda Shunila Yaha Haite Tare Vadha Kaile Hai Papa Priyashchite. Okay, it's a little long purport, so I think we can take this shloka on tomorrow. See, anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.